Minorikawa got his wallet out of his jacket to pay the driver.
Oh no,
Kimizuka said, waving a hand.
don't worry about the fare.
Well, why not?
There's still plenty left over from what you paid me earlier, sir. That's what I meant by special fare.
That's right. He'd paid Kimizuka a whole 10,000 yen for taking him to Endo Electronics earlier.
But, I mean...
I'm not the sort of person to keep the change as it were.
Kimizuka said. Minorikawa felt a surge of pride at those words.
You're my kind of guy, Mr. Kimizuka.
A man in the job can always count on Hachiro's Kimizuka's taxi.
The driver grinned.
Now go on, go!
Thank you. I have a feeling we'll meet again.
As Minorikawa entered the theater lobby, he saw a bunch of flower bouquets, patrons' gifts of appreciation. Among the names of the senders were celebrities he recognized. Evidently, the Wandering Angels were a pretty popular acting troupe. People were setting out pamphlets and flyers out on a nearby table. There was a palpable tension in the air. The crew seemed skittish as they went about their work.
Emilio.
He's late.
Someone shouted out all of a sudden. It was a man over in one corner of the lobby, railing angrily to nobody in particular.
Keep going.
Why the hell hasn't that journalist shown up yet for the interview?
Looked like he'd been waiting on Minorikawa then.
What's his deal? Pulling this while we're this busy?
Guess that's Shinosuke Oarai.
I've been busy myself.
Minorikawa said, keeping his composure.
Trust me, I know how it goes.
Hell are you?
I'm the guy you've been waiting for. Mr. Oarai?
The man glared at him.
Oarai.
He said.
Anyway, I'm Minorikawa. Sorry to keep you waiting. So, really, a short wait is a small price to pay for the chance to be interviewed by me.
Well, I hope you appreciate how valuable my time is, now that you're taking it.
Snapped Waitress.
Oh, someone sure has a high opinion of himself.
Minorikawa replied. He marched up to Oarai.
Damn right I do. I'm Shinosuke Oarai.
The theater man got right up in Minorikawa's face.
Like anyone even cares.
A jolt of tension sparked between the two men.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I beg your pardon.
A woman interrupted.
Mr. Oarai does have a schedule to keep.
And who are you, Miss?
Sukozawa. I'm the producer.
Listen, Sue. I'm in the middle of an interview here. Please don't interrupt.
What? That's how you conduct an interview?
That's right. This is how I roll.
Whatever.
Oarai growled.
Let's just do this already.
Fine by me.
The two men sat down on opposite sides of a table in the lobby. But Sukozawa spoke up again.
Mr. Oarai, don't forget the meeting you have after this.
Yeah. Handle that, would you?
Minorikawa let out a derisive snort.
It's like you're holding court.
He said.
Do people actually hang around you with that kind of attitude?
I have no right to judge my acting troupe.
Minorikawa straightened up in his chair, a mocking smile on his lips.
Oh, so it's your acting troupe, huh?
He said.
Why don't you play all the roles yourself? Heck, you could even be your own audience.
Dare you!
Oarai rose to his feet and made to leave, but Sukozawa herded him back down into his chair. Minorikawa continued as if he hadn't heard.
Just what is it you do, anyway?
He asked. Oarai raised an incredulous eyebrow.
You don't know?
No. Why should I?
You came to an interview without knowing anything about who you were interviewing?
Yep.
That's it. Get out!
Oarai roared and pointed angrily toward the exit.
How dare an unmannered clod like you come in here and waste my time?
Hey, who's being unmannered now? I came out all the way here to hear your story, didn't I? Why don't you get out?
Minorikawa pointed at the exit as well.
Hell should I have to leave?
Oarai demanded.
This is my house!
Look, just get out!
This time both yelled and pointed toward the exit in unison. Sukozawa quickly interposed herself between them, forcing a smile.
Gentlemen, please calm down.
She said. Then she turned to Minorikawa.
You should be aware that Mr. Oarai used to be a broadcast writer. He is responsible for a lot of big hits.
You don't need to mention that.
Oarai grumbled. Nonetheless, Sukozawa rattled off the names of several shows. Minorikawa did indeed recognize many of them. He murmured.
How come you're running a failing theater?
Failing?
Oarai went red in the face.
I'm not wrong, am I?
You are absolutely the rudest person I have ever met. What would a rank amateur like yourself know about theater?
Oarai's face was dark with rage. But Minorikawa didn't back down.
Listen, this has nothing to do with how well your theater is or isn't doing.
He snapped.
The television world wouldn't accept you. So in order to retain your pride as an entertainer, you started doing theater. Isn't that so?
Act like you know anything. I've staked my entire life on the theater.
It seemed as if Oarai might throw a punch at any moment.
Sure,
Sure.
city theater.
I think that's alright.
Sure, a city theater might seem small time compared to TV, but you get a lot more of a response from it.
Response? Oh, now that sounds interesting.
Darn right.
Oarai exclaimed.
You could see it from up on stage. The audience. You could see their faces.
There was a passion in Oarai's voice now.
Really feel it. When the audience is enjoying themselves, you can feel that energy. Can't get that from doing television. Thinking back on it now, my time spent working on TV. Let's see. What's a good analogy? It's like being handed a towel that's already damp. No, that's not right. Okay, so a better analogy would be...
And without further preamble, Oarai began talking about his tribulations back in his broadcast writer days. Minorikawa smiled inwardly. The interview ended promptly after 15 minutes, the time that had been promised. Both men emerged from it as if from a daze. Minorikawa found himself staring Oarai in the face, shaking him by the hand.
So, what kind of story did I just get?
He asked, speaking half to himself.
You heard about one man and his life. And I have to admit, it was a good interview. Thanks. You have my gratitude.
With a satisfied smile, Minorikawa closed his notebook.
Right. Glad to hear that.
Oarai inclined his head, looking a bit bewildered. A flustered Sukozawa interrupted.
Mr. Minorikawa, wasn't this interview for a piece about the performance?
Minorikawa blinked.
It's just that you were only asking about Mr. Oarai and not about the performance itself.
Sukozawa said.
Oh, I see what you mean. Actually, I came here for a piece I'm going to be writing called... Where Are They Now? Washed Up Broadcast Writer Showcase.
I washed up?
Oarai was red in the face all over again.
You bastard! How dare you! Forget everything I just told you. I do not give you my permission to use it in your magazine.
You're too late!
What?
I already heard your whole story. You should be grateful that I'm writing a piece on it.
You bastard.
With a wild look in his eyes, Oarai snatched up a hammer the stage crew had left nearby.
Wait!
Shut up.
Oarai waved the hammer menacingly. But the attack came to a sudden halt as a ringtone startled him out of his fury.
Hold on a moment.
Minorikawa said brightly.
I have to take this.
He whipped out his cell phone.
Hello? Minorikawa speaking.
This is Osawa. Wow, he called back a lot sooner than Minorikawa had expected.
Your daughter's come home, then?
No. Actually, there's a favor I'd like to ask you. A favor? Minorikawa thought back to his visit to the Osawa residence. The drawn curtains, the stricken look on Osawa's face, Minorikawa's instincts had sensed something significant going on. Apparently, getting the full story wasn't going to come without some cost.
Favor, huh? Is it something urgent?
I'll pay whatever I have to. I just need you to look into something as quickly as possible. His voice had the telltale desperation of a man who'd been backed into a corner.
All right.
Minorikawa said.
I can help you out for a little while.
Osawa hurriedly explained what he was after. The request was a strange one. He wanted Minorikawa to look into a scandalous article that 4-star general gossip had run about him in the past.
What makes this so important?
Do I have to say?
I mean, you're asking me to look into something without explaining anything.
He eyed Oarai, lurking nearby with obvious irritation. Minorikawa would need to calm down the erstwhile broadcast writer, or else his interview really would be for naught. He decided to bluff both men at the same time.
Let me just say one thing.
He said into the phone. He made sure he spoke loud and clear so that Oarai would overhear.
I want to tell the world this story. No, I need to tell it. If I don't feel that way about something, no amount of money in the world will get me to write an article on it. It's my pride, writer.
Minorikawa could see Orai's aura of rage fading as he listened. The theater man looked surprised. Whew. Meanwhile, Osawa had decided to open up a bit. All right, he said. I can't share all the details, but
Okay. He's in a talkative mood now. Job, Minorikawa. See, this is going fine.
the power of balance of the entire world might be at stake here, Osawa continued. And I mean that quite literally. I can tell you more after you're done investigating. Wait, was he serious? How could the world's balance of power hinge on looking into some alleged marital affair? It was so absurd that Minorikawa had to fight the urge to burst out laughing. A person would need to be out of his mind to believe a story like that. But Minorikawa wasn't the average person. And sometimes the truth was so ridiculous it really was stranger than fiction. Osawa wasn't lying. Minorikawa's instincts told him that much.
All right.
He said.
I'll check the editing department's notes from back then.
Minorikawa felt his excitement building. Things were really getting interesting. For the moment, he nearly forgot Toyama and his troubles. When he ended the call, Oarai approached him and extended his hand.
Listen, your methods might be a little extreme, but I can tell you take pride in your work.
Of course I do.
I'm sorry for getting so worked up. I bet you'd write a fine article about me. So please, Mr. Minorikawa, let the world know about me and my half-lived life.
Minorikawa took the offered hand and shook it.
Leave it to me. Once I'm done with it, you won't just be some washed-up nobody anymore. Mr. Oarai.
It's Oarai.
Minorikawa grinned. Minorikawa rushed out of the theater. He'd completed all the interviews that he could get done before 4 o'clock. Now he had an hour left to write it all up to convince the folks from the loan company that the gossip could stay afloat. He let out a roar, psyching himself up for the final push. Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. The phone rang several times. He listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment.
What is it?
Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. Osawa felt a surge of outrage. He wanted to scream. But he took a deep breath and managed to maintain control. Tanaka? Where are you? Is Maria all right? Tanaka did not reply. The police told me. They said you were connected to the kidnapping. A soft chuckle came from the other end of the line.
Oh, well, the police sure do know how to do their jobs.
Tanaka's tone was unapologetic. He sounded nothing like the man Osawa thought he knew so well. Why would you do this? Money? Are you having money troubles?
Money.
Tanaka replied.
I suppose that's part of it. Honestly, I doubt you would understand. Do you have any idea what it's been like for me during the research together? You're always the one who takes center stage. The fruits of our success are all yours. You know you couldn't have done any of it without me.
The more he said, the more vitriol seethed into his words. Osawa's hand trembled as he clutched the phone.
The taker could never understand how it feels to be taken from. You hoarded so many things to yourself, so taking some of them back.
And with that, he hung up. Hey! Tanaka! Osawa dialed the number again, but Tanaka didn't pick up. Osawa racked his brain, thinking back on how Tanaka had been acting earlier that day. Had there been anything unusual? Any clue at all, no matter how small? If he could find some hint, maybe he'd be able to find Maria and Hitomi. That was it. I had been suspicious of Tanaka all day long. So much so that she'd planted a bug on him hidden in a tie chip. Her suspicions must have been pretty strong. Wait. Osawa recalled what Kajiwara had said.
But still, if she is that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift is a bit...
The words had struck Osawa as odd when he first heard them. I had never given him a tie clip. His heart gave a heavy throb in his chest. It couldn't be. No. It was impossible. That article from 4-Star General Gossip crept back into his mind. The article had talked about a man I had dated before she married Osawa. The man's identity was never revealed. Could it have been Tanaka?
You hoard so many things to yourself, so taking some of them back.
Tanaka's cold words took on a new depth of meaning. Osawa felt the foundations of his life begin to crumble. Were Tanaka and I accomplices in all this? No. Wait. Just calm down. He couldn't let himself jump to conclusions. He needed to be more level-headed. Everything depended on it. If the two really were accomplices, why would I have planted a bug on Tanaka? What purpose would that serve? What could it mean? It was no use. Osawa couldn't think of how that made sense. First things first, he needed to establish what a relationship between Ai and Tanaka really was. Once he figured that out, he'd be able to get a better handle on the situation. Obviously, he couldn't just go and ask Ai directly. If she really were involved in all this, she certainly wouldn't tell him the truth. Osawa thought back to the business card he'd tossed into the trash. He didn't relish the thought of getting help from that scavenging hyena, but now was no time to be picky. If he wasn't able to leave the house, he needed someone else to do some investigating for him. The freelance writer, Minorikawa. He was Osawa's only hope.
Kyle?
Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, his finger on the trigger.
Emilio. Is it working for you, Emilio?
No.
Justin?
No, it's infinitely loading.
What do you mean by that?
The barrel of the gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am!
You're trying to play games with me.
I'm not playing with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing. But who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me! Am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good, hard look.
Damn it. No wonder.
He continues to study me along the barrel of the gun.
Tell me what you know.
It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia! I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me.
Ah, I see. So, that's what's going on then.
Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. Seems he believes me at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa?
No.
Then who is Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me?
Shut your mouth.
The man spits.
Just be quiet.
His expression is vacant.
What am I going to do?
He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me?
Seems so.
In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to a point at the ground. It doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore. But it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either.
B.
I need to do something about that gun he has and then make a run for it. I pick up one of the crates that are lying around in the alley and hurl it at the man with the cane. Then I book it right out of there. I run for a long time without looking back. When I finally do take a peek over my shoulder, there's no sign of the guy following me. Slowing my run to a walk, I notice Miku, the girl I fought for those cases of burning hammer, sitting on a nearby staircase. "Thanks for earlier," I call out. She gives me a puzzled look. You let me have those diet drinks from the knick-knack shop? Revelation dawns on her face.
Huh? Oh, right! I didn't notice. Oh, right, I didn't recognize you since you're not a cat anymore.
What are you doing here? I asked.
Just Like, you know.
She gives me a half-hearted smile.
Say, where'd you learn Aiki Jujutsu?
Huh? The question catches me off guard. I don't know what to say.
Your Aiki Jujutsu. Where did you learn it?
My Aiki Jujutsu? Now that she mentions it, that's a great question. I mean, I must have learned somewhere, or my body wouldn't have moved the way it did back then. I wonder who taught me. Try as I might, though, I can't remember. Miku interrupts my silence as a refusal to interprets my silence as a refusal to answer. She lets out an annoyed snort.
What? Is it a trade secret? Fine. Then how long did you train?
Not that long, I guess. Probably. I'm just trying to avoid telling her I have amnesia, but she obviously thinks I'm being secretive.
You know,
She says angrily.
after losing to you, I've completely fallen apart. I've lost everything. Do you know how that feels? To feel like you've lost hold of the thing that makes you, you?
I nod with conviction. I do know. I've lost things too. Like my memory.
You do? Well, I just can't take this anymore. I'm having a complete breakdown of identity. I mean, I'm saying this having lost to you and all, but a long time ago. Oh, do you mind if I tell you some stuff from a long time ago? Anyway, so a long time ago.
And so Miku launches into her story.
You think maybe it is for the best if I quit?
She asks at last. By now, 15 minutes or more have gone by. I've listened to Miku go on and on about her teenage years because I feel bad about getting her so depressed, but yikes. She's asked me all these questions I don't even understand, but although I'm starting to get sort of fed up with her angst, I keep my patience and respond as best I can. If you love doing it, then I don't think you should quit, I tell her. Chances are, if you try to do something else, you're just going to come back to martial arts anyway. Besides, you probably owe it to the person who sent you down this path in the first place.
You think so? Maybe you're right. Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Miku's face has regained a measure of cheerfulness.
Thanks. I'm gonna keep on practicing more and more so I get stronger. I'm not gonna lose to you next time!
I'll keep that in mind. I've got no interest in fighting her again, but For now, I'll keep that to myself.
Alright then. See you around.
With a parting wave, Miku hops to her feet and heads off. As I watch her leave, a feeling of jealousy wells up within me. Did I once have something I was that passionate about? I don't even know because I can't remember. I just can't remember. That gunman. The one with the cane. He might know something about me. And at this point, I'm even willing to risk a run-in with a killer to find out more about myself. I decide to head back to where he was before. When I arrive at the alley, though, there's nobody there. Paradoxically, I'm both relieved and severely disappointed. Then I happen to notice something lying on the ground. What is it? I pick it up. It's a notebook. Slipped into the back cover is a photo showing 2 boys and a girl. Well, what do I do now? Do I go to the police? How would I even explain the situation? I can see it now. There's this killer out there, and he's after this person named Hitomi Osawa. And then the police would be like, who is that? And who exactly is after her? And then what would I say? Heck, they might not even give me the time of day in the first place. Not only do I have any idea who Hitomi Osawa is, I know nothing about the guy who's after her except that he walks with a cane. I mean, I can't even tell them who I am. They'd probably shoo me away without a second thought. What am I supposed to do? I hang my head, at a total loss. Necklace around my neck sways idly to and fro.
Caanan led them into a narrow back alley. The moment she stopped, Hitomi spoke up.
Kyle, play your sister.
Why was my sister kidnapped? Oh wait, am I also playing Caanan?
Jules can play her tonight.
Okay.
Before I answer that, there was something I need to tell you.
Caanan said. Her tone was cold and sharp.
I've come to Japan because I'm on a mission. I'm not at liberty to discuss all the details.
all right?
Hitomi gave a slight nod.
To answer your question, Maria was kidnapped by mistake.
What?
Hitomi gasped.
But why?
Because this kidnapper isn't after Maria. They're after you.
Who's after me?
The mastermind behind this whole thing.
Caanan said. Her tone was matter of fact.
Whoa, hold on.
Achi interrupted.
What did you want Hitomi for?
That I cannot say.
Well, then, who is this person?
I can't tell you that either. You see, there's sex, nationality, age, appearance. Just about everything about them is shrouded in mystery. So there's honestly not much I can tell you.
Achi and Hitomi stood dumbfounded.
What gives?
Achi said.
So you saying all you know is that this person has some lame name like Mastermind?
Hitomi turned to whisper in his ear.
Mastermind isn't actually their name.
I'm here
Caanan spat.
because I'm looking for revenge.
Revenge?
Hitomi asked.
What for?
This person also killed my friend.
Caanan's inscrutable eyes flashed with a threatening gleam.
Earlier, you said that it was your fault my sister got kidnapped.
Hitomi said. Caanan cast her eyes down.
"4 days ago, I managed to learn this criminal's plan. So I got in touch with Maria and told her that you were going to be attacked at that party.
So that's why she told me not to go.
Hitomi's voice trembled as she spoke.
I gave Maria a small GPS tracker to give to you. But I guess you never got it.
Hitomi shook her head.
I see. She must still have it then. Wait, so then, my sister...
The Color drained from Hitomi's face as she understood.
Yes.
Caanan replied.
Maria acted as a decoy and let herself get kidnapped in your stead, Steve.
Hitomi swayed on her feet, shocked to the verge of fainting. Achi hurriedly reached out and caught her in his arms.
But wait,
He said to Caanan as he held Hitomi up.
I don't get that either. Why didn't neither of them go? Then nobody would have been kidnapped, right? I mean, why'd her sister need to go and act as decoy?
Caanan let out a tiny sigh.
If she hadn't gone to the party, the kidnappers would have just found some other opportunity to come after her.
Okay.
Achi nodded.
That sort of makes sense.
I'm betting that Maria's plan was to use the GPS to lead me to these guys' hide. She wanted to keep her sister safe, and also figured she could help me with my mission. It's the sort of scheme she'd think of.
So then, can't you use the GPS to locate Hitomi's sister?
Achi asked. Caanan shook her head.
The GPS hasn't been powered on since she was kidnapped. It's possible the kidnappers took it from her.
Wait, what? So after all of that, even you can't find Maria?
Achi slumped his shoulders in disappointment.
I didn't say that.
What do you mean?
I got some intel from those syndicate members we met earlier. Apparently, sometime this morning, they put Maria into a blue minivan, and since then they've been moving her all around Shibuya.
Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances at the mention of the blue minivan.
Unfortunately,
Caanan continued.
those operatives didn't know what the current situation was exactly. So we're back to the blue van then.
Achi hurriedly explained what they'd been through so far. He mentioned how they'd first seen the blue van where the kidnappers had told Hitomi to find it. He also described how first the man with the cane and then a host of others had come after them. He got a little sidetracked here and there, but Caanan quietly listened to the end.
I see.
She muttered.
So, then, what do you think?
Achi asked.
Seems like we messed up their scheme a little, huh? Whatever the case, this man with the king concerns me.
Caanan said.
I doubt he's working with the others. I don't know what that means.
Maybe that's it. Some guy who isn't involved butts in and throws off their whole plan.
Caanan nodded in agreement.
Because you and that man with the cane showed up.
She said.
They couldn't leave the minivan where it was. They took a sensible precaution.
But then, if you think about it, isn't this an opportunity for us to turn the tables on Mr. Mastermind?
Caanan flashed him a faint, speculative smile.
I wonder about that.
Aw, come on.
Achi grumbled.
You're such a buzzkill.
Any well-made plan has a good solid outline. Which means that even after it has come to fruition, it's easy to trace things back to the planner.
Is that how it works?
By contrast, if you achieve your goals using accidental means, the outline becomes blurred, and it makes it harder for anyone outside looking in to grasp what the actual plan is.
Achi swallowed hard as he took in the gravity of the situation.
Well, but I mean, like, if there's an accident, people are gonna for sure panic. Plan or not.
The corners of Caanan's lips curled up.
Typically, I suppose.
She said.
But the people who are after Hitomi, not only have they put together a perfect plan, they've purposely left certain tiny holes in it. And so we can't even figure out who they are. The outline of the plan is always too blurry.
Achi had no response to that. It was like he was hearing about some completely different world beyond the one he knew. If what Caanan had said was true, he'd been dealing with opponents that were on a level way above his own.
In any event, since these people are after you, it'd be best if you didn't wander around town anymore.
Caanan told him. By now, Hitomi had recovered. She stood up straight and shook her head.
No. I'm going to find that blue minivan. My sister is in danger because of me. I can't abandon her just to save myself.
Yeah, that's right.
Achi patted Hitomi on the back.
And if that's what you're gonna do, then I don't care who we're against. I'm with you until the end. Heck, it's too late for me to back out now. That ship's already failed.
Hitomi giggled despite herself.
It's already sailed, Achi.
Yeah.
Caanan let out another little sigh.
Alright. Just make sure you're extra careful.
She said.
You can't count on getting bailed out of trouble like you have before.
I understand.
Hitomi said. Her eyes showed no trace of doubt or fear. Caanan gave her a slight nod, then quickly disappeared down the alleyway.
Right then.
Achi said.
Wanna get back to looking for that minivan?
Then he stopped, remembering their previous efforts. If they just heedlessly wandered around town, they'd probably end up in the same trouble they'd encountered before. They'd get chased by the man with the cane, or by the kidnappers, and their search would be interrupted yet again. What should they do then? There had to be a better way. Achi happened to glance upward and caught sight of a surveillance camera installed on one of the streetlights.
That's it. Yeah. I can't believe I even think about this before.
Hitomi peered at him, startled by his sudden shouting.
We just need to use my old man surveillance cameras and this will be a breeze.
Achi took Hitomi by the hand and started running. His destination? The security camera monitoring room in Dogenzaka. Achi didn't slow his pace until they were nearing their destination. Then he turned to look back at Hitomi. He was about to ask if she was doing alright when someone close at hand called out to him.
Minorikawa?
Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you heard of SOS?
Achi stopped in his tracks as a stranger stepped in front of him. The guy looked too old to be picking a fight with SOS. Achi regarded him with suspicion.
Yeah. And why do you ask?
Do you happen to be a member yourself?
No. No, not anymore.
The man's eyes flashed with a gleam of recognition. Did this guy know who he was? With a broad grin, the stranger took a step closer. Achi's heart sank. He couldn't afford to get caught up in some new hassle right now. Hitomi flashed him a worried look.
Let's go.
Achi and Hitomi dodged past the man and hurried onward. Even if the guy was harmless, they needed to be on their guard. There was no telling just how many thugs and assassins were looking for Hitomi. Rather than head directly for the surveillance building, Achi decided he'd better make sure the stranger wasn't up to something. Hitomi followed as he slipped quickly into a back alley. There was no indications that the man was following them.
What was that guy's deal?
Hitomi asked.
No idea. But he sure seemed kind of fishy. Doesn't look like he's coming for us after. Coming after us, though.
They took a quick detour through another seedy back alley. Then, as they were starting to head toward their original destination, Achi felt a sudden searing pain in his back. Glancing over his shoulder, he discovered that one of the foreign syndicate members had crept up and struck him from behind.
No, I've been stabbed. Oh,
Hitomi screamed. Another man had suddenly appeared, grabbing her by the arms.
Hitomi.
Achi tried to reach out to her, but his arm was leaden. His body refused to obey his commands. As the attacker wrenched the knife from his back, Achi felt the blood gushing out of his wound. The two men started to drag Hitomi away.
Damn it.
He tried to pursue them, but his legs faltered and couldn't find their footing. He was losing blood so fast, he was starting to fade from consciousness. Achi could only watch, impotently, as Hitomi was dragged further and further away.
Minorikawa?
Wait a second. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Ah!
Minorikawa stopped and let out a cry of frustration. Daisuke Endo had asked him for a favor after their interview was done. He'd promised to tell the Wandering Angels that the dry ice machine they'd purchased was defective. Well, damn. That had completely slipped his mind. If he recalled correctly, the issue is that once the machine started making dry ice, it wouldn't stop. If he ran back to the theater now, he'd lose about 10 minutes. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. The lone people would be coming by this editing office before too long. He needed to prove to them that next month's issue of 4-Star General Gossip was well underway, or else they'd refuse to wait any longer for repayment. And to do that, he needed to fill a minimum of 6 of the 12 remaining blank pages. He couldn't afford to waste even a single second. This was an awkward position to be in. He needed to keep his promise to Endo. But he also needed to spend his time wisely.
Ah, I don't have a choice. go for A. Just to try it.
There was nothing he could do about having forgotten. He hurried on to the cafe.
Sorry, Endo. Sorry, you are. Just gonna have to let this one slide. Got Toyama's life on the line here.
He opened the door to the cafe with the practice of a regular.
Jules.
Welcome.
The waitress only got that far before her face fell.
You again?
Hey, hurry up and get me a seat.
She grinned wickedly.
I'm terribly sorry, sir, but we're all full at the moment.
He looked around. All of the seats were indeed filled.
As you can see, sir.
Really now?
The waitress's grin widened with triumph.
Yes, sir?
Fine. I'll just write here. Let me get some power.
Jamming his power cable into a nearby outlet, Minorikawa plunked himself right down on the floor and booted up his laptop. The waitress watched in dismay, then turned to stare vacantly up at the ceiling.
Just do whatever you want.
He muttered vaguely.
You know, a person can only get away with being obnoxious for so long. Sooner or later, someone's likely to call the police.
Minorikawa looked up from his work, startled to see the burning hammer salesman standing over him.
You're Mr. Yanagishita.
Thank you so much for stopping by earlier. Are you going to write your article here?
Yanagishita eyed Minorikawa's computer.
Ooh, that's the latest model, isn't it?
Look, I've got no time to talk right now.
Minorikawa opened the file with his half-written copy.
What's this? Chaos at bogus weight loss drink sales demo.
Yanagishita read the copy aloud.
The organizer, Junichi Yanagishita, didn't merely have a whiff of decent about him. His breath also stunk.
Sound good?
Minorikawa asked.
I wanted to make sure I gave an accurate impression.
I love what you've done with it. This is a great copy. Fantastic.
Yanagishita turned to look at him with a manic grin.
Yeah, isn't it?
In a flash, Yanagishita's face went from grinning to livid.
Hell it is. You think I'm gonna just let you write something like that?
Snatching up the computer, Yanagishita bolted out of the cafe.
Hey! Get back here!
Minorikawa leapt to his feet and rushed off in pursuit. As he sprinted madly along, Yanagishita turned down a narrow alley. Minorikawa stayed close behind him, desperate not to lose sight of him. His quarry began to weave his way through the back alleys of Shibuya. This guy clearly knew his way around town. By Miyashita Park, they zipped up onto a pedestrian bridge. Just where the heck was this idiot going? Halfway across the overpass, Yanagishita suddenly stopped. Confused, Minorikawa stopped as well.
Give that back!
He called. The next moment, Yanagishita flashed a mocking grin and dangled the laptop over the railing. Minorikawa lunged toward him, but it was already too late. The laptop left Yanagishita's hand and went spinning down through the air. Then, as the two men struggled, Yanagishita himself toppled over the railing. Without hesitating, Minorikawa jumped down as well.
Whoa!
Minorikawa landed hard. As he struggled to regain his breath, he looked around and saw Yanagishita beside him. Incredibly, the laptop was safe in the charlatan's grasp. Apparently, he'd somehow managed to catch it in midair. Before Minorikawa could be too relieved, however, Yanagishita got to his feet and took off running again.
Get back here, you little weasel!
This Yanagishita guy was infuriating. That, and he was really fast. Minorikawa considered himself a decent runner, but he couldn't manage to gain on Yanagishita. If running away was a competitive sport, the guy would be a world-class superstar. As he ran along, a peculiar thought occurred to him.
Hold on a minute. He hates my copy that much. Shouldn't he have wanted my computer to break? He go out of his way to catch it like that.
It made no sense at all.
Hey!
Minorikawa shouted between gasping breaths.
What are you planning to do with my laptop?
Yanagishita glanced back at him.
Gonna split. Sorry about this.
What?
Minorikawa was taken aback.
Consider it compensation for defamation of character.
Come on, get real. Can't be defamation if the article hasn't run yet.
Consider it an advance on the compensation.
This was so nonsensical it made Minorikawa's head hurt. But now at least he knew why Yanagishita had dived after the computer. The thief continued to weave his way through the side streets. His speed didn't diminish in the slightest.
Damn it. This guy has too much experience running away.
Minorikawa's stamina began to fade, and finally he lost sight of his quarry. But that didn't mean he was ready to give up the search. There were articles on that computer that were right on the verge of completion. Whatever it took, he had to get it back. Yanagishita had said he was going to sell it. Where could he be headed then? Probably he was headed to Endo Electronics. It was the only local place he could think of that might buy a second-hand computer. Damn. The guy had led him on a wild goose chase. Minorikawa started running toward Dogenzaka. As he approached the scramble outside the station, he caught sight of a skinny figure disappearing into the throng along Center Guy. A suit with deep bluish stripes. There was only one man he knew who dressed like that. But why was he heading down Center Guy and not toward Dogenzaka?
Oh.
Now he remembered. There was a secondhand knick-knack shop near where the Burning Hammer demo had been held. He recalled seeing a poster out front that read, "We buy computers at top prices." That had to be it. That's where Yanagishita was planning on selling his laptop. Changing directions, Minorikawa darted down Center Guy.
There you are, Yanagishita.
Minorikawa burst into the shop on Center Guy, an accusing finger pointing squarely at the thief.
Listen.
Oh.
Listen, does that one buying computer doesn't have a build cable?
Details, details. All you sell here is junk anyway.
Yanagishita and shopkeeper had gotten into an argument. Minorikawa recognized the shopkeeper. It was the guy he'd run into on the roadside earlier.
That computer belongs to me!
Minorikawa shouted as he marched up to them.
Give it back!
Yanagishita clutched the laptop to his chest.
I need the money!
Knock it off, you're acting like a child.
Minorikawa tried to slap him out of his tantrum, but Yanagishita ducked to avoid the blow. And then, bizarrely, Yanagishita froze. A fierce gleam came to his eyes. He broke into an incomprehensible stammer.
I didn't catch that you said anything.
Did I say it?
No, it's Yanagishita's line.
Did it not come through?
Yeah, try turning off auto gain, you have it on.
It's...
Yanagishita snatched up a flyer that his gaze had fixed on.
Right stomach, huh? No, this is... Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Yanagishita.
Iron stomach, huh? This right here's my little blue bird of happiness.
He cried.
You know what? You can have this.
Yanagishita shoved the laptop into Minorikawa's arms.
Welcome to it, idiot. So, never mind.
And welcome to it, you idiot. I don't need no worthless computer.
You're the idiot, Buster.
Minorikawa smacked Yanagishita right across the face.
Ouch.
Hitting him felt good. He decided to do it again. Minorikawa shoved Yanagishita toward the shopkeeper.
Hand this guy over to the police.
He said.
Not police.
Yanagishita pleaded.
Caanan, you thief! You tried to rip me off, and you have no idea how much is riding on my work. You deserve 10,000 deaths!
$1,000? Isn't that taking things just a little too far? I'm sorry already. I give up.
Finally, the guy was ready to surrender. Minorikawa let his guard down for just a moment.
Like hell I am.
Switching gears in an instant, Yanagishita took off running at full speed.
Again. Get back here, you bastard!
Minorikawa was already in pursuit. He stuck with Yanagishita as far as Koendori before losing track of him. The guy sure knew how to make a getaway. Breathing hard, Minorikawa stopped and took a look around the area. As he did, he heard a cell phone ringtone from somewhere nearby. It was the new single from the pop singer Aya Kamiki. Could that be Yanagishita's phone? Huh. Could be. Somehow he struck Minorikawa as the type of guy who'd have a ringtone like that. It seemed worth looking into anyhow. He had nothing else to go on. Minorikawa shifted his gaze around, trying to locate the source of that sound. Suddenly, a massive, fiery blast knocked him from his feet. By the time he realized it was an explosion, his senses were already shattered. He couldn't see. He couldn't hear. He couldn't move his body.
Where am I?
For a while, all he could feel was an intense pain. But soon, even that faded away. And then, there was only darkness. Probably he was headed to a knick-knack shop. Minorikawa recalled seeing one near the Burning Hammer demo site. He also recalled seeing a poster outside the place that read, we buy computers at top prices." Damn. Guy had led him on a wild goose chase. That shop was surely where he was going to sell the laptop. Gulping a deep breath, he headed in that direction.
There you are, Yanagishita.
Okay, same scene. Wait, no, it's different dialogue.
Well, it's the same right now, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I remain motionless, waiting for an opportunity to run away. I might not make it in time.
Leo.
I might not make it in time.
The man murmurs to himself under his breath. Not make it in time for what? I'm curious now, but this is hardly the time or place to try to find out more. I've learned for certain that I'm not Hitomi Osawa, which basically tells me nothing. I'm right back to square one on figuring out who I am. The assassin has gone quiet. Sitting on a pile of crates, he seems lost in thought. Still, I don't dare try to get away. All I can do is stand and wait and mull over my own situation. Just who am I? I ask myself again and again. I am.
Leo.
I have no business with you.
The man finally says.
Go. Don't worry. I won't follow you.
I wonder if I can believe him. Maybe he's just trying to get me off my guard so he can shoot me in the back.
Do not go to the police or go back home.
He continues.
Lay low by yourself somewhere for a while.
How long is a while?
Until around sundown. This should all be over by then.
It'll all be over? I have no idea what it is, but I decide not to pry in case he decides to change his mind. Okay. I'm going to run away now.
Sure.
I take a slow step backward. I'm starting to turn away when he speaks up again.
Before you go, I need to tell you one more thing.
What's that?
When you get your memories back, I'm sure you're going to hate me. And so I apologize in advance.
Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about. But it makes me even more uneasy.
I truly am sorry.
I've got no response for that. So I just give the man one last look before I turn and run. I decide to look for some place to hide out for a while, as the gunman suggested. But since I don't really know my left from my right in this town, that's easier said than done. Before I realize it, I've made my way back to the knick-knack shop where I bought the necklace. Maybe I could hide out in here? As I contemplate that possibility, I hear an all too familiar voice.
Yanagishita, I think.
Tama! 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 Tama!
There's Mr. Yanagishita on the floor of the shop. He's been tied up with some rope. What happened, boss?
Look, this is all just... I was framed.
Nah, whatever's happened, I'm pretty sure it was all his fault. Just call it a hunch.
Says I'm a thief. Well, I say he's the thief for selling stuff he finds around town.
Hey,
The sales clerk steps into view, scowling.
so what are you implying?
What in the world is going on here? I haven't the foggiest.
Emilio? You there?
It's so low. Tama, help me, please.
Yanagishita kicks and squirms like a hyperactive child.
You notice, man?
The sales clerk asks. No. Well, I mean, sorta.
It's real pain. He's been making a scene like this for as long as she's been here.
I find it hard to imagine a worse way to interfere with someone's business.
I hate to ask,
The clerk continues.
but could you take him to the police for me?
The police?
Yeah.
Well, the police? The gunman did specifically warn me not to go to them. I feel no loyalty to that killer, but I am reluctant to antagonize him. And for reasons I can't explain, I have a strong sense that going to the police right now is a bad move. But Mr. Yanagishita isn't privy to my thoughts, and he looks up at me with a hopeful gleam in his eye.
That'll work. Tama can take me to the police. And then we can put this all behind us. All's well that ends well, right?
Well, sure. Feeling like I have no choice, I leave the shop with him.
Okay.
Mr. Yanagishita says excitedly as soon as we're out of earshot.
Now let's go find Chiri.
Huh? Aren't we going to the
What? No. We're not really gonna go. Oh man. I'm so glad you showed up, Tama. Now come on. Let's go find Chiri.
From the big grin on his face, I have an inkling of what's coming next. You've thought of another get-rich-quick scheme, haven't you?
Goodness, Tama. You can see right through me.
It's not that difficult. It's practically written all over your face, boss. But Mr. Yanagishita isn't really listening. He's too full of enthusiasm.
This time, I got a fine on 10 million yen. So come on, Let's go make ourselves stinking rich.
He punctuates his grand announcement by pointing fervently at some non-existent listener. I stand with Cheery on the winner's podium. The cheers and applause are deafening when the Master of Ceremonies makes the announcement. Cheery is the champion. She laughs with delight as she holds up the trophy that signifies her 10 million yen win. And me? I got runner-up. I wasn't too into the idea at first, but after giving it a shot, I found out that professional gluttony kinda grows on you. Even I was surprised by how much I could eat, and I had to admit it felt kinda good. My memory still hasn't come back, but that doesn't matter anymore. I found myself a new purpose. To steal Cheery's spot on the throne. That right there is now my greatest goal in life. To eat.
I think that was a good end, not a bad end.
Very good.